Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Welcome to Flixwatcher podcast. This is episode 31. I'm Kobe.
And I'm Helen. In this edition of Flixwatcher Pod, we are joined by Jenny and Eleanor from Story Etc. And we're going to be reviewing the awesome Sing Street.
I hope you enjoy the show, guys. Remember, please visit us online at flixwatcher.tv. Come to our Twitter account, which is at FlixWatcherPod, and please go to iTunes, subscribe and review. And as we always say, guys, all the films were available on Netflix at the time of recording. There was going to be bad language, there's going to be spoilers, and we hope you enjoy it.
Do you want a professional sounding podcast as professional as Flixwatcher Pod? If you do, we recommend that you check out GL Productions. They're responsible for our editing and production. They're also going to give you a welcome package, 10% discount. If you're interested, email podcast@glpro.co.uk, send them the message that Flixwatcher Pod sent you, and they'll give you 10% off your first package. Hello and welcome to this edition of Flixwatcher Pod. Today we are joined by Jenny and Eleanor from Story Etc. Would you like to say hello, introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your podcast?
Hello, I'm Eleanor.
I'm Jenny.
And we are from Story Etc., which is a monthly anthology podcast about fiction and storytelling and everything around that.
And what do you mean by fiction and storytelling? Let's go a bit slightly deeper into that.
We pick a theme every month and explore that theme within fiction.
Yeah.
So past themes we've had have been things like myth and secrets. So we look at them as themes for plots, but also taking things into sort of like the back office bit of fiction and sort of talking to storytellers and producers and composers about how they work with fiction around that kind of central topic, really.
Cool. Nice. And we'll obviously link to all you guys in the show notes and stuff. So whoever is listening, find Story Etc.
Yay.
So we're talking today about Sing Street. Who chose it?
That was me. So Sing Street is a coming of age story, really, about a kid in the 80s in Dublin who forms a band because he wants to impress a model, a girl. Yeah. Not just a model, just a girl.
As all boys in bands do.
Exactly. And there's a lot of music in it, so it's quite a musical film without being a traditional musical. But it's all that sort of kind of nostalgic schoolboy type stuff. But there's also against a backdrop of economic worries, family stuff going on, lots of quite interesting topics and themes as well that make it a little bit deeper, I think. And I picked it. I've watched it far too many times now. It's getting quite embarrassing.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
it's a returner for me. It's one of my sort of go-to.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'm already alluding to where some of the scores are going to be.
Yeah. Not that I'm biased or anything, but I picked it because I find it to be quite a kind film. It's nice to watch something which is optimistic, even if that is hopeless and without rationale.
Yeah.
To watch something just really daftly optimistic, and to go back to hopelessly optimistic days of being at school and thinking, yes, I can take on the world and I will do it, rather than thinking, oh, but actually I can't. I've got a meeting at 3 and some bills to pay.
Got to get to this podcast recording.
Gotta go. I just want to get on a boat and sail somewhere and not come back. Yeah, that's why I chose it.
What were your thoughts on that?
I loved it. I don't even know if I'd heard of it, actually.
Yay, that's why we're here.
Yeah, and I had no idea of what it was about. I mean, it had Sing in the title, so I kind of assumed there might be some singing. But yeah, I thought it was a really beautiful film and really kind of what Jenny said, really kind of optimistic and hopeful, but also that didn't shy away from the fact that a lot of optimism and hope is sort of hard won. Like it comes out of things that aren't easy, people, deciding to channel their talents and their hardships into something. Yeah.
Facing off against a struggle almost is sort of the opposite side of the coin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's the struggle that they're facing up against?
So Connor specifically, main character, his mum and dad are not a good couple and should probably never have got married.
Yeah.
So they're going through a breakup and a divorce. They have financial problems. He's being pulled out of school and being put in a different school.
A horrible school.
With bullying and insinuation of child abuse that could potentially be happening.
Or some real physical abuse.
And some, casual beatings. Yeah. So he's not having a great time of it.
And that outside of that, you still say it's casually optimistic.
Yeah. And any film that can be optimistic with child abuse and beatings, you kind of think, that's quite an achievement. Sir. Yeah.
It's got something to it.
Exactly.
Helen, you've seen this before, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed it when it came out at the cinema.
It was in there for a very short period of time.
It was a limited release, wasn't it?
And then it was featured on the quiz that we do, and I was like, oh, what's this film? And
what did they say in the quiz about it?
It was the observation round.
I was one that wasn't there.
You might have been there, and I was like, oh, this film looks interesting, and I think as Will said, it was really good, and I think then that was like watched it and
hold on. Will, I should explain to you guys, he's been on our podcast, and notoriously within our friends, he's the most down on any films ever. He's a really good film. He's a really strong film. Loves his films, but he
has his genres that he enjoys.
Yeah,
and musicals are one of them.
Does he enjoy musicals?
Yeah,
I didn't
Sounds
know
like
that.
a stand-up
because
chap.
Will doesn't like animation
at all.
This is it. So it doesn't matter if it's Disney animation. Doesn't matter if it's like Rick and Morty, Simpsons. He just blanket does not like animation.
Wow. He's never seen Up.
Yeah, he's never seen Up. Never seen Inside Out. Never seen. So this is Will, but he liked this film, so it's great.
Okay. Surprising.
But I mean, we've obviously already mentioned all the things that are awesome, but the songs are brilliant and the band's outfits are brilliant. I think anyone who has any kind of small feeling for kind of the 80s and pop music and great films, that's it really. I don't think we need to say anymore.
Are we?
Don't watch it now. Don't wait for the scores.
Are we all
going to be
talking
off the
Yes.
Just
about.
Yeah.
So I mean, when there's a lot of the kind of interesting part of the story for me is between Connor and his brother.
Yeah.
And that kind of him educating his brothers to what good music is about, and you see then Connor directly referencing that to his friends, and that's how they kind of get the band together. It's like, Duran, John Taylor's one of the best bassists ever. Blah blah blah.
I love that part.
Yeah.
I swear I've done basically exactly that because I've got quite older brother and sister, and I would just sort of just borrow their opinions and just sort of give them to my school friends sometimes.
This reminded I've got to say, I love the whole idea of the film, and I love what happens in the film. But for me, the songs didn't really hit me, and that for me is I class this as musical, and I love musicals generally, but the songs just didn't really hit me. And the two kind of things I compare this to in this kind of genre is like the Commitments, where obviously the Commitments were a covers band, so those songs were really pumping and really got me kind of going. But also, I don't know if anyone remembers Pugwall and Pugwall Summer, the kids' TV program from
Yeah.
And that really, I used to really love that as well. So that's a similar kind of setup with kids with a band writing cheesy songs for themselves and their friends. But the song, I don't know, the songs just didn't really get me. But I loved everything else. I loved
even the Story of the Model,
Riddle of the Model,
the Riddle of the Model. I think maybe it's just the way it was mixed in the song, because you could clearly tell they weren't singing it live, and it's things like that that kind of set me off apart from it. What do you guys think about that? Because I think everyone loves the songs apart from me,
I actually think I do know what you mean. I hadn't thought of it quite that way, but I think possibly because I came into it not expecting a musical, really. And there are sort of, one of the things I loved about the film generally was it's such a good kind of like a sort of non-traditional period drama. Like it's so 80s.
Yeah.
And I thought they captured the sound of sort of like the early years of what might end up being like a really, really great band. And so the fact that I didn't come away maybe singing, or they weren't like musical numbers, it didn't bother me at all. In fact, I quite liked it because it looked sort of all pieced together and sounded a bit like that too. But I do know what you mean, I think. So yeah, agree, but took it maybe a bit differently.
Sure.
Do you think it's sort of maybe a little bit overproduced?
Not overproduced, just that the songs didn't hit me. And I loved when they played Rio.
Yeah.
Duran. I love the 80s. I love 80s music. I love them filming the videos. I loved all that kind of stuff. But it's just the actual song itself and playing them live that just didn't really get me in there. And seeing also, is it Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll? The film. The film.
Ian Jury one.
Yeah, Ian Jury film as well. And that, I was really into that when they were playing them live and things like that. But I just felt there's a bit of a separation. But I know lots of people love the Drive It Like You Stole It and Riddle the Model, and I can really see how they would work quite well. But for me, there's just a disconnect. I think and that just sounds like it's me. So that's a great thing. So ignore me, guys, and listen to these guys.
I really liked that the songs, in one way, really liked that the songs sounded so pop song. It was a straight in and they were sort of good pop songs. What the disconnect for me came was, but they stopped sounding like 80s songs.
Right.
So you're kind of watching it thinking, this could have been really, like Drive It Like You Stole It is a great pop song, but it's not not a very 80s song. So it almost, I feel like that's not of its time. It's so they just kind of put that in because they like the song rather than it was actually sounded like it was of the same time as the film.
So what wasn't 80s about it for you? Because you had the synth, you had the...
Yeah, but you get synth every day of the week.
See, I thought the songs were great, and I like how he blatantly just steals a sound from all of his influences.
Yeah.
And I just think the last song is just kind of what happens to bands, that they end up kind of progressing a little bit, and then they maybe do become a little, overproduction, and maybe their sound doesn't sound original. So I didn't find any of that to be
interesting,
affecting in any way. It was more kind of the evolution of the band, that they'd got to this point where this was like their big number. This is going to be like their big hit, like their stadium filler. They're going to make it with this song. And that's what the end song kind of is, in kind of like a rock biography arc. That's what happens in rock films as well.
I love that end song because it referenced a lot of stuff that happened in the story of the film, like being told off for wearing brown shoes, and was he told off for wearing makeup and stuff like that in the song as well. So I did like that aspect of things. So what one thing I really loved in this film was when they turned up the next day and he'd have the highlights in his hair and the makeup on because he'd seen Aha the night before, and then the day after they'd be wearing different clothes. And I really love that side of things. And I don't know, I just love the 80s.
I mean, also with the songs, you've got to remember that these are 16-year-old kids.
Yeah.
So their songs aren't going to be, that strong. And I kind of like that bit about it, that some of the singing is a little bit weak and some of the bits sound a bit odd, but I like it. It's part of its charm.
The charm of it.
And I also think that, particularly with the last number, it's how he imagines the songs in his head a little bit. So what they actually are and how they imagine they sound is a little bit blurred between different points in the film.
Sure.
That would probably tie in quite well with the other daydreamy sections. So I actually read an interview with the director today in prep for coming here, and he said that the ending of the film was meant to be more of an outright blur between reality and daydream as well. So I didn't think that at all. I just thought, they're on a boat, cool.
Oh, so you thought that actually happened?
Yeah.
That's quite interesting, because I think the first time I saw it, I just thought that's clearly they're on a boat and that's idiotic. But the second time I thought
that's just stupid. That looks dangerous.
Yeah, that looks dangerous, because they're just
lifeboat in sight,
they're rolling on this little 2-stroke boat. I don't know what they're called, but then a massive kind of cruise liner,
which they nearly bump into.
Bump into, just comes out of nowhere.
Didn't spot it.
But why shouldn't you believe in that? That's what they're doing. There's nothing to say that 20 minutes later the Coast Guard doesn't come and drag them back.
True.
Anything.
Yeah,
but you've got to believe in
suspend
believe that they made it to London with no money or no contact.
With her portfolio and his tapes.
Yeah.
And no sterling.
A song in his heart.
And no sterling. And actually, I read something else saying that the song that's playing, which I think is like the guy from Maroon 5, what's he called? Adam Levine. Is singing the song that his brother, the stream of consciousness lyrics that his brother wrote down and said, hey, put some music to this sometime.
Okay.
is the song that's playing. So it's meant to be, well, one interpretation could be that, yes, they absolutely made it to London and he got himself in a wicked band and actually made some music, or they died underneath a ferry.
Oh dear.
So what do you guys make of the, we've talked about Connor a bit, what about the other characters and I guess his family? Oh, they've got a hand to heart there.
I have a hand to heart for the friend whose name I've now just forgotten, but the one with the glasses and the rabbit.
Bunnies, yeah.
Oh, I
can't remember his name now either.
The one
so
with the
lovely.
glasses?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, with the bunnies,
the
the
singer-songwriter,
Yeah. The one. I did worry, actually, one of my worries about the end wasn't whether it's true or if they died. It was, I'm not sure how successful he's going to be without the others, specifically the glasses.
Bunnies.
Bunny man. I just thought he was great. I loved his sort of, he seemed to encapsulate the whole taking on the chin that all the other characters were trying to do, like getting through this just difficult, horrible school and difficult economic circumstance. And I thought he was a delight, and I liked all the rabbits on his bed.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the rest of the band is when you're watching it, you're like, oh yeah, we all had a kid like that in the class or a friend like that, and you can really empathise with them and go, totally believe all of these characters got together in such a random way and became this crazy little band.
Massively. I do have a soft spot in my heart for the little ginger kid.
Yeah.
With his business cards.
Yeah.
I haven't got a phone, just call around. Like, absolutely, that would definitely happen. There would be a little sort of pioneering kid who's just
enterprising.
Sort of enterprising.
Yeah.
Film it.
Absolutely.
Get it all together.
Producer, Matt Phil, like band manager, he's on it.
He has the idea to go up to the bully kid and like just sort out that problem. He is a problem solver.
Yeah, he is. He's like, if they did a reunion, I reckon he would have been
Most successful.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And what about his brother then?
I love his brother. I think his brother might be the reason I watch this film so much. I
Right.
think I've got like quite a heavy crush on his brother.
Oh, it's a crush thing, is it?
I like their relationship. I like the kind of...
So how old do you think they are apart? Because that's kind of a large age gap for...
But isn't he just dropped out of college?
He says he was already playing music and doing things before the others came along. So yeah, maybe like, I don't know, 8 years, 6 years maybe.
I think maybe 6-ish.
Yeah, I don't think the gap's that big.
Because then there's the sister in the middle as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But the sister was a bit of a nothing character.
She
unfortunately,
was.
wasn't she? Yeah. But I love the interaction they had with the brother. The first thing, of course, being where they played a recording. He played a recording of a song to the brother, and the brother just kind of opened the door. So that's stinking. He's gonna let the stink out.
You know you can record over tapes now.
Exactly.
Not this. I'm not risking it.
So it's kind of the voice of reason and the voice of optimism in a way, even though he's kind of seeing what's going on with his parents in a different kind of light to what Connor's going through.
Yeah. I think what I loved about that character was he was the one who sort of unlocked things because he took this quite, it's never going to happen dreamy career being a musician and took it seriously. And I think when sort of generally when people want to be creative and that kind of thing, especially if they're coming from, less privileged backgrounds and stuff like that, when it's difficult, you need to kind of get into the mindset that you're going to take this, making this thing seriously and it's worth your while doing. You're not wasting your time and that kind of thing. And I love that the brother kind of gave him that he had these like really analytical viewings of Top of the Pops and stuff like that and was explaining why it was art and explaining this. I just thought it was great.
I also like that he held off educating his brother about getting out of Ireland. It's something that he always wanted to do himself, and obviously took him step by step through all of these bands, and was so happy when he got on a boat and actually left. But he didn't in any way was he saying, "Look, you need to get out, or you're going to be stuck like me." It wasn't that kind of pressure, or
You're just kind of like mentoring him without being direct, kind of being that father figure that obviously isn't really apparent in their family.
It's that kind of championing that you need, isn't it? To be able to, your music's a bit crappy to start off with, but hey, I'm going to help you out because you want to do it, and let's make sure you're going to do it properly because I don't want to be associated with you if it's crappy, stinky music. I think he's my favourite character in the film, to be honest with you. And we have Aidan Gillen
as dad. Who doesn't like Aidan Gillen in anything?
Well, you've not seen Game of Thrones, but obviously we're both fans of The Wire.
Yeah.
You guys
I wasn't expecting him to turn up, actually. I was like, oh, Littlefinger.
Surprise Gillen is the best Gillen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the main character we haven't spoken about is the model.
True.
Yeah.
Take her or leave her. But I think she's quite one-dimensional in some ways.
Yeah, she's got kind of like that kind of backstory that's obviously not great, but yeah.
But is she just meant to be because that's the dream of a
16-year-old with a
16 is going to be a model? Yeah, exactly, with a half a personality.
But I mean, obviously she's been through a fair bit of trauma in her life, and she's not living in a traditional kind of family, and she's got to be aspirational about something, I guess.
It's sort of an inversion of what Connor has, really, because she is very pretty, and it seems like that's the only thing anyone's bothered to notice about her, maybe, and the only thing people have commented about her. And so that's all she is at the beginning. Like, he sees her, she's just a model, that's how she introduces herself, all this stuff. And then as she sort of gets to know Connor a little bit and sort of works with the band. I mean, you're right, we still don't get to know that much about her, but I think, I don't know, there's a sense of, like, when Connor speaks about her, he speaks about who she is as though he's seen something that we haven't. So I think maybe there's a sense that someone is at last taking her seriously, or sort of, seeing more than just her very beautiful face.
And when we're all at school, there's always the girls. I don't know, you guys might be the girls that went out with the older boys from outside of school that had a car. So that always kind of makes me laugh when I saw them.
I don't think any of us were those girls.
I think there might have been one or two. Wasn't me.
She was really cool with the filming and stuff like that. With the first video, she comes along and says, right, we need to sort this out.
Yeah, we should sort of say, actually, it's just that everything else in the film and every other performance feels a lot more kind of fleshed out and more confident, whereas there's some bits where she's great, and then there's some other bits which you probably would have gone, maybe could have done another take of that, and there might have been a bit more emotion behind it. She's maybe the sort of weakest link in what is kind of 110% from everyone else.
Right.
Which that's maybe someone in a film has to be the one that's not as bright and dazzling. I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure about that. But is there anything else, guys, you want to say before we go into popcorn time and talk about the scores?
I was watching, I don't know if anyone else, have you seen Son of Rambo?
Yes.
That kind of reminded me a little bit of this.
I can see that, yeah.
From a film point, and it's just sort of thinking about film comparisons, and that's kind of got the same things going on. But also, like what you said, that there aren't really enough films that actually have quite a sweet story at heart and are not terribly overcomplicated and can be optimistic whilst sort of telling a story that does have, not that many happy things going on. So if you like this, then that's one that I would also say you should check out as well.
So do you think I'm thinking too much about the music side of things?
I don't see it as being a musical as such. I see it as being a film that has songs in it, which is different.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Would you say The Commitments is a musical?
No, because I'd say things like Chicago are musicals.
Right.
Because the songs in them are like showpieces that kind of tell the story as well. Whereas the songs are in it because it's a film about a band. So I think it's two different things. Like, you wouldn't say like maybe Almost Famous is a musical, but there's songs in that the band play.
Right.
So yeah, I wouldn't think this is a musical. And also, a lot of people don't like musicals.
But so like this.
Yeah, so if you don't like musicals, don't be put off by that it could be like a music. It's not like a musical.
Yeah, it's not a La La Land. It's not a Les Mis.
No. It's a film that is about a band, so therefore has the band's songs in it.
Okay. Well, let's head to popcorn time.
Popcorn time.
Yay.
So thank you to Popcorn Shed. We should really ask people, you don't have any allergies, do you?
No.
Should really ask this, but
yeah, because this has got pecans in it, so if you've got a nut allergy.
Pecan pie.
Oh, it's sticky.
Oh, that's a big clump of popcorn. Let's see how you eat that. Sorry.
All right.
Are we
really good.
popcorn fans in general? Is that your go-to cinema snack, or?
I'm a savoury.
Salty. Yeah.
So cinema snack, I tend to go dependent on state of hangover, I tend to go dirty hot dog.
Oh,
at the
really?
cinema. Yeah.
Really? The one that's been rolled around on those rollers.
Yeah, it's awful, isn't it? I don't know why I do it to myself, but I find the availability of decent savoury snacks at cinemas
Lacking.
lacking.
Yeah.
I go for a pick and mix.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's so expensive though.
I know.
5 sweets in there, that'll be £12.
Nah, but popcorn fan. Do you guys listen to like Kermode and Mayo film show or anything like that?
No, sometimes.
Because like you have the cinematic code of conduct, and popcorn's a massive.
No.
Yeah.
What?
No, but
It's restfully, isn't it?
it's a nice hearted thing. But it's things like not having your mobile phone on and not taking your shoes off. But yeah, the food.
I know
is...
someone who takes their shoes off.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Do they have stinky feet? Is it
I was at
Reese?
the cinema last night and I was like, what's the smell?
Oh, no.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh, it's gone. It was again. And then like I realised what he'd done. I was like, I can't believe you took your shoes off. There's people other than me around here.
So you'd
So
agree?
apologies to the ritzy cinema last night if you were offended by a cheesy feet smell.
But so that means you'd agree in principle with the cinematic code of conduct.
Yeah, but I think you should be allowed to bring snacks.
Yeah, snacks. It's just
And popcorn's fine.
I think the worst is when people try too hard to eat it really quietly but aren't good at it.
Yeah.
So it just lasts 8 times as long and there's no discernible lack of sound.
Alrighty, let's get to the scores.
We're so done with New Year, New You. This year, it's more you on Bumble. More of you shamelessly sending playlists, especially that one filled with show tunes. More of you finding Geminis because you know you always like them. More of you dating with intention because you know what you want. And you know what? We love that for you. Someone else will too. Be more you this year and find them on Bumble.
So, do you guys know how the scores work?
I read it. Remind me.
So it's out of 5. You can have points if you wish.
Decimal places.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
So generally, recommendability, kind of how likely how much do you think someone should watch this film? And then obviously repeat viewing. Small screen score is the one that's kind of gets a bit tricky. So it's how well does it work really on the Netflix arena. So, and also you can kind of think about what bonuses it might have had been in sort of seen in the cinema, or whether it works watching it on a TV screen, and engagement as well. But we will start with the recommendability.
Indeed, yes.
I can guess Jenny's score.
I don't know what you mean. I put this at 5.
Oh, wow.
I have already...
Why am I surprised?
I have already recommended this to most people I've come across.
I'd put it at probably 4.5. I'm sure I will recommend it. I haven't yet, but
Get on that.
I will.
Yeah.
So
5.
5. Yeah. I'm going to go for 4, which is a good, strong score for me, I think. 4 is a good one. 4 is good. And I think I should say that's quite high because I know people who like it really like it. And I like it a lot, but just not as much as those other people. So I think that's my kind of reasons there. Peak viewing score. How many times have you seen this, Jenny?
Less than 10.
Oh, okay.
Less than 10, but more
9.
than 8.
9.5.
Because I fell asleep once. Repeat viewing score, I'm going to go with 4.
Okay. Why is it not 5 then, considering you've seen it?
You have to rein yourself in at some point, don't
Right.
you? You can't just...
Did you watch this? Has it always been on a small screen?
Yeah.
Well, in fact, we'll get to that later, actually, in the next round of scoring. But yeah, it's always been on a small. You didn't see it in the cinema when you
Nope.
sort of first
Netflix only.
Okay.
repeat viewing. I'm pretty sure I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch it again in the next, month or two. So I'm going to give it a 3.75. You shouldn't have told me there were decimals.
That's fine. I've gone to stupid numbers of decimal places. 3.75. Helen.
I'm going to go to 4. But
Alright.
I'll come back to this film lots.
How many times have you seen it already?
I've only seen it once because I watched it quite recently.
Okay.
Anyway.
So this twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen it twice. I saw it. So I'm the only person that saw it in the cinema, I guess, of those guys. And that was on the recommendation of lots of critics that I like. And it's a shame because it was just in the cinema. The sound still wasn't as good as I hoped it would be. And I was hoping on second reviewing again, it would grab me a bit more, but it didn't. So I'm going to go for a 3. because it's worth definitely watching more than once, but I'm not sure the next time I'm going to watch it. Small screen score.
Explain this one to me again.
So small screen score is typically it has a high small screen score if you think it's perfect for watching on Netflix, i.e. on a TV, anything down to some people have watched on on their
Phones and stuff.
On the phones, yeah. And you think, or it would have a low small screen score if you think you really need to watch it in a cinema to get the most out of it.
Okay. I can see how a big screen experience with this, I would have hoped that it would have a bigger impact.
Yeah.
With live songs and stuff. I don't feel like I've missed anything from just watching it on the telly though. So I don't know, maybe a 3.
3? Sounds like it might want to go a bit higher there, but
yeah. And I mean, also when I think about scoring this, get very technical now. I also think about kind of what Netflix is to me, and it's also a little bit of getting to catch films that I might have missed on the cinema and revisiting things like that, or discovering like unknown films. So that's also what I think about.
Eleanor.
I'd give it a 5 for this, actually. I did watch about 20 minutes of it on my phone. It's the first Netflix thing I've ever downloaded onto my phone, actually, and it made for a very nice bus ride. And I also think it's like a perfect one to like, watch in bed or something like that. So yeah, I agree with the performance bits of it would be lovely in a cinema, I bet. But no, I think it's really good.
Who was it? Can you remember, Helen, who was that had a concept of a Napa film, whereby it's guys from the podcast, the guys in Brighton. What's the films from?
The Bitter End.
The Bitter End guys. They had a film that they called. One of the guys had this concept of a Napa, where him and his wife would watch a film
that would send them to sleep.
That at any point they'd be happy to fall asleep watching it, but it wouldn't be a film that they didn't like, but it'd be one that they're happy to.
I've got a few of those.
I've got a few of those. Yeah. It's normally things like Babe. Or Father of the Bride is a great Napa.
So good.
Mine's The Thin Red Line.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's so dreamy. I mean,
You're
apart
just
from like,
desperate to go to sleep.
well, I used to put it on like when I used to not be able to get to sleep. I had it on video and just put it on. Obviously not the war bits, but the like the more dreamy bits where there's just kind of the grass is kind of yeah.
So what are you saying?
Is it my turn?
It is. It's your turn. Small screen score.
I'm gonna go 5.
All right.
I don't think. I mean, the songs aren't polished enough to feel that you need to see it in a cinema, and coming in at 1 hour and 46 minutes is a very length. Strong length.
Yeah.
And yeah, if it wasn't on Netflix, then I probably would not have got around to seeing it. So I think it's one of those ones that people who haven't seen it, you may listen to this and it might become your favourite film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people's favourite films from last year. So it's great that it's on Netflix because, like we said, it did have a limited cinematic release, and it's great. I would say small screen score. Yeah, it works really well on small screen. I think I'm actually going to give this a 5 for small screen score because I don't think the songs. Something we talk about sometimes with the small screen scores that we benefit from the sound, a decent sound system. And as I've talked about, I didn't think the sound worked that well, so I don't think you needed the Dolby Atmos.
It's also got a little bit of because it's so 80s, it's got kind of like a little bit of a made for watching on TV. Or maybe they just kind of thought, no one's going to watch this at the cinema, we're not going to get released, so let's make it kind of TV friendly.
Engagement score. So how much were you engaged whilst watching it? Were you checking Wikipedia? Were you checking the lyrics of the songs?
The lyrics of the songs. Spotify playlist. All of that. No, I'm going to go high on engagement. I'm going to go 5. This is why I've seen it so many times, because once you start, I cannot stop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, now I'm here for the next hour and a half.
So this is your Shawshank Redemption. This is your Shawshanked.
Shawshank?
So you were the concept of being Shawshanked?
No, I don't know whether I want to Google it or not.
It sounds nasty, but it's completely not. So the concept of being Shawshanked is if you turn on the TV and Shawshank Redemption is on, at any point in the film, there's no way you can pull yourself away from it.
Okay.
So like E.T. then?
E.T. You call it E.T.
Well, that's an example.
Sure. So we've had Nappers.
Just any
and
song
Shawshanks.
you want to watch till the end.
I think Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jurassic Park.
Yes, I'm Shawshanked.
You get Shawshank watching it.
Shawshank.
Eleanor?
I'm going to go high because I nearly missed my bus stop, but not 5 because I also did do some tidying through the last bit of the film. So I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
Light film tidying.
Yeah. It was pretty light. My room is still messy.
Helen?
I'm going to give it 4.5, not full marks, because I don't know. I think maybe the more times you watch it, the less engaged you'll be, and you'll kind of like go in for your favourite bits, and you don't need 100%. But the first time you'll watch it, it'll just be this joyous breeze, and you won't even notice that you've watched it all.
Cool. I'm going to give 2.5 here.
Ooh.
Middle of the road, and it's because of the songs. I just wasn't, second time round, I just wasn't really interested in the songs. Apart from the one in the, where he has that daydream sequence where he's imagining playing like the Enchantment Under the Sea kind of dance, and you have the priest
It's
in the
got Back
backflips.
to the Future reference, so can you not?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, 2.5. That's where I'm just going to stand.
Oh.
But it gives us a strong score, though. We get an overall score of 4.2.
That's pretty strong, actually.
Yeah. That's going to be
I'm
one of
happy
the
with that.
highest. Yeah, one of the
Yeah.
highest scores we got there.
Fair.
So let's go to our Twitter peoples and find out what they said about Sing Street. I just need to find the tweets. So we asked the guys on Twitter, hey guys, we're reviewing Sing Street. Have you seen it? If so, give us your 5-star rating, a short review, and ask people to retweet. Dave Hudson, I am Dave Hudson, who's a former member of this pod. He came on to talk about Pulp Fiction. He said, 10 out of 5 would recommend to the world. He
Yeah.
doesn't understand the concept of 5 out of 5. Amanda's Pick Show A Go-Go, my top movie of 2016. So that's something I said before. All the stars for this one. Death by Film Pod says, a surprisingly fun and honest movie with great music. 4 stars. And Fernby Films at Fernby says, fun, melancholy, bittersweet, songs are terrific. 8 out of 10 stars. So that's 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
For anybody doing their star maths.
Struggling with stars.
Struggling with stars here, Dave and Fernby. But yeah,
I think that's pretty reflective
of what we said, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, real. I think it's a real treat, and yeah, had I missed this completely, I'd be really sad
Oh,
because it is such a lovely film, and I know you haven't really got down with the songs, but I do really like the songs.
No, I'm super glad I watched it.
Yeah.
good. Oh, fantastic. Well, that's all kudos to
Taking
Jenny.
full
then,
credit
isn't
for
it?
this, yeah.
And this is how you can hope that you're affecting more and more people. Not affecting, influencing more and more
Puts up
people.
my recommendability score.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like-
it does.
Loads. Can I change that? Can I go back and say, well, I've just recommended it to
No,
all
you
of your
put-
listeners?
Well, you gave it 5 out of
You
5.
gave it 5. You
So
can't go
that's
any
the- That's
higher.
the maximum.
Regardless of
I'll
what
do 10
Yeah,
out of
that
5.
10 out of 5.
Twitter decided. Out of 5, guys.
Strict star maths here.
So I think, yeah, that's a great point to finish, guys. Thank you so much. Can you sound us off? Where can we find you on the Twitter and the internets?
So-
And yeah,
Our Twitter handle is @storyetcpod.
yeah.
And our website is storyetcpod.com. And you can listen to our podcast through the website or on iTunes or Stitcher or your podcast provider of choice.
No, you said it before.
I
Eleanor.
haven't.
She hasn't actually. I don't think.
Oh, you haven't? Oh,
I was very
tripped off
impressed
the
by
tongue
that.
there.
Thanks. Yeah, I think you've covered everywhere we are on that.
And if you guys have personal Twitter accounts, then of course,
I'm at Welly Beaner.
Welly Beaner likes the jelly beans. You do that on purpose?
No, it's my childhood nickname.
Okay.
Welly Beaner.
She just told everyone.
All the millions of people that listen to this now know what your childhood nickname was. And your Twitter account. So
On my Twitter account.
we get some more followers.
And mine's Jenny Redmond.
Yeah.
Boring.
No, not at all.
Excellent. Thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having
Yeah.
us.
Cheers for choosing.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, hope you enjoyed that episode. Please do scroll down the list and find out all the show notes and click on the links to find lovely, lovely people on their Facebook and the Twitter and their website, because, you know, they'd love to hear from you and love to hear that you found them from listening to Flixwatcher. Thank you very much to our editors as always. Toby is the main guy who helms and carves our voices, and also hello to Tony, Jay and Greg and everyone else at GL Productions who we haven't met yet. Of course, please big up Mighty People for the tunes you can hear now and at the start of the podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes, find us on Twitter at FlixWatcherPod, and visit our website, flixwatcher.tv.